So today, the Rexburg Police Department, as well as the Fremont County Sheriff's Department and the FBI conducted a search warrant in the 200 block of North 1900 East in Fremont County. It's also the residence of Chad Daybell, that's a Fremont County resident. During the search of the property, investigators discovered what appeared to be unidentified human remains, and an autopsy will be conducted.
Hi, this is Martha England. And
did you hear my stomach? Oh my god. I wonder if the mic picked that up. It was like, This is Murder Fluent. I'm Frank. This is Martha.
That's right. I like true crime.
And I am not a fan. Yet.
That's right. Today we're talking about Chad and Lori Daybell, and then the children Joshua Jackson Vallow, or JJ, and Tylee Ashlyn Ryan. And this is an ongoing case, really. So I'm sure we'll have to update this later because it is not.
Before we get into the whole thing, I want to let everyone know who may not might question Martha's research, because we had some people comment, and we had some good comments, we had some weird comments, because evidently people in this lane of life are a little bit some people who are into true crime are into it so fucking much that they think that the knowledge they've acquired trumps any other sort of, I don't know. We were just questioning things. And it was like, some people were like, she murdered, what was the last story we did?
Darlie Routier.
Yeah. She murdered her kids. Then we were just questioning things. We don't know what happened. And we weren't even saying one thing or one way or another, but there was people questioning Martha's research. She spent so much time on this, so much time. And we'll have all of the links in the video description, just so you assholes, not assholes, you're wonderful people, so you don't bother us with that nonsense. It's bullshit. But anyways, she spent a lot of time, and there's a lot of shit in this. I don't know much of it, but there's a lot of different angles on it, so we're going to do our best.
Right. Anyway, so starting at the beginning, Lori got married at 19 in 1992, and then got divorced pretty quickly afterward. And then she got married again when she was 22 on October 22nd, 1995, and had a son, Colby, born in 96, and then they got divorced pretty quickly then in February of 98, and then she married Anthony Ryan in 2001. He legally adopted Colby, and then they had Tylee in 2002, and then he filed for divorce in 2004, which was finalized in 2005. Okay, and then in 2006 is when she meets Charles Vallow, and they get married just 282 days after her previous divorce. So this is her fourth husband. And then they adopted JJ in 2014. JJ would be her husband at that time's sister's biological grandson.
Oh, okay. See, already, this is like the beginning of Lord of the Rings, where they're just like everything. There's all these names, and you're like
you don't really have to remember most of those names.
Just
for the
know
most
that
part.
she's how old, and she's been married 4 times.
She's okay. So she got married in 92 at 19. Was the first time 19, 22. And, well, either way, she's been married 4 times so far. She's got 1 more to go.
Still
5
fairly
times.
young, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So then, Chad, who we'll get to, they're not married yet, but he's married to his previous wife, Tammy Daybell. They have 5 children, and he has founded Spring Creek Book Company. He is a publisher, and he has also published his own books.
So what kind of books are these?
Religious
Okay.
nature books. He had a couple of near-death experiences.
Oh, those kind of books.
So,
cool.
and this
Those
is-
are always really
yeah.
reliable.
He believed he had numerous past lives. And he could talk to angels. People had light and dark auras, and he could read those.
I love people that have that kind of arrogance that like they just and it's like not even it's like built in through this experience that they allegedly had. It's fantastic.
Well, and it's
such
kind
a
of
fun
mixed
character
in
trait.
with their religion, and like they started as LDS members, but I don't. This isn't what they believe in. Is not a
What
typical.
a fun way to live your life.
Well, that's exciting.
I
that's
mean,
for
to
sure.
just have that kind of thing that you're like, yeah, I talk to angels sometimes. If somebody said that to you in a casual conversation, you'd be like, all right, well,
I know.
we don't
Well,
visit these
that's
people
not
anymore.
That's the least of the crazy. So, he also believed in zombies or people who had been taken over by like dark spirits or evil spirits or whatever. But he didn't meet Lori until 2018 when they started doing podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are these still available to listen to?
I'm not sure. I didn't listen to them. I did not listen to the podcasts.
Man, that's gotta be gold. That's gotta be solid gold craziness.
I
bet.
didn't delve into the podcasts because I heard enough of the crazy religious stuff with the other interviews and like with her friend later and the details there. And they're pretty strange. I didn't really want to hear
Their rhetoric
yeah.
and their dogma.
and I don't know if they're still up or not.
That's the most interesting. I don't like. I just caught bits and pieces, but the whole religious system of belief that these people had or whatever, there was a lot of insane shit that I
and
kept
it's
hearing.
kind of like their own little cult that has formed.
Yeah.
Like it's them. But she thought she was appointed by God to lead the 144,000 chosen into the millennium. They thought the world was ending this past July.
What a
Spoiler
bummer.
alert, we're still here.
It's starting to go downhill, though.
I
so
mean,
they might
really,
be on to something.
really, yeah, they may not be wrong. So people have called it a doomsday cult. They had 7 missions. They had to supply provisions for righteous members of families and food distribution for tribulations and things like those were the people that were going to be selected. It's very strange. But back to Lori and Charles. They're married. They have a daughter, Tylee, that he adopted. Or no, I'm sorry, he did not adopt. The previous husband had adopted Tylee. But they have custody of Tylee. And then they also have JJ that they have adopted, which, like I said, was Charles's sister's grandson. So Ryan, the previous husband, Anthony Ryan, was attacked by Lori's brother Alex, who tasered him and threatened to murder him in 2007.
You ever had something that you knew was the right thing to do, but it turns out that later on it was a felony? This is a true story. I found out that my ex-brother-in-law was a pedophile, so I took a stun gun and I discharged it right in his nutsack. And I did. And in Texas, that's a felony. I'm thinking, maybe I'll get a handshake or a parade or something. I got probation. So they arrested me here and they held me out here in jail. And I learned something when I was here at Maricopa County Jail. I learned that I was the only white guy in there that did not consider crystal meth one of the 4 major food groups.
Why was that?
I am not exactly sure why that was. He was sentenced to 90 days in jail, and then Ryan died later, 11 years later, of a heart attack. So he's no longer around to be questioned or anything about that. But her brother comes into the story a lot. So that was 2007. 2014, okay, the Valos moved to Kauai.
Nice.
Right, Hawaii, like island life, island living. They had a small business, and then they moved back sometime between 2016 and 2017. And then Tylee's dad dies in April of a heart attack, like I said. He's cremated, and his death is now a part of this whole investigation now, according to the FBI. There's several deaths in this case that are a little bit fishy. So now we're getting into 2019, the beginning of 2019, January 31st. There is body cam footage of Charles. Again, this is her fourth husband. He wants Lori to receive mental health at Community Bridges.
She thinks she's married to Moroni in the past. This is her
You think she's what?
We're married to Moroni, the top of the temple.
Angel
Moroni.
LDS. Angel.
They don't let me in
She's
there.
probation, and she knows when the second coming is happening next year, so does the prophet.
Okay.
He knows it, she knows about it. She meets with Moroni and Jesus Christ face to face in the temple every day. I've tried to support her as much as I could, but it's gotten really, really bad lately. She's had a break. She says, I'm Nick Schneider. I've taken over Charles's body, and Charles has been killed. I'm going to kill you. You're going to be murdered today or tomorrow. I can do it. I'm not going with my priesthood, with my power. She does priesthood blessings. She does.
So who's
so
Nick
upsetting.
Schneider?
That's who I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
She, at the time, was thought to have a normal state of mind and was medically cleared and not kept there. She has at some point decided that Charles is a zombie, and he had a demon living inside of him. Okay,
A
so
demon zombie. That's very rare.
she had said that he was already dead, and he's telling police in this video that he's worried about himself, he's worried about his kid's safety, and she had threatened to murder him. And at this point in time, Charles changed the beneficiary on his life insurance policy for $1 million from Lori, who was his wife at the time, to his sister Kay. So she doesn't know that yet. So in February, he files for divorce. So again, she's thinking of herself as a god, and she's getting ready for the second coming of Christ.
And she thinks that
she's ready for the end of the world.
A man who's filing for divorce is a demonic zombie.
Right. Right. But she is married to him when this all starts.
But she doesn't see any problem with that zombie can go and file paperwork like a person.
Well, but they're not. She's not saying zombie like you and I. Like he's possessed by an evil spirit.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
So, anyway, he files for divorce. He later stopped the proceeding and says he was going to work things out with Lori. She supposedly disappeared for 2 months during this time, before she came home to the kids. He had said in 2015 that she no longer cared about him or JJ. Or she had said that, I'm sorry. And then said that she was the wife of Joseph Smith, which was like the founder of Mormonism. And then she just vanished for 58 days. So that's what they're talking about. It's like, where did she go? I guess she took $35,000 from their joint account, and then she stole his truck. And she took JJ and all of his clothes and his business laptop and everything. Canceled his flight home when they were coming home from Kauai, and he had to buy a new ticket to get there.
How the fuck do they have $35,000?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm still stuck on that. I'm like, you said he opened a book company or something.
No. That's Chad. This is.
Oh, okay.
That's. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, like I said.
That's the fifth husband. We're talking about the fourth husband right now. So, so that's February. Then in June that year, Melanie Bordereau, who is Lori's niece, demands a divorce from her husband, Brandon, on Facebook. And he claims that she is in her aunt's cult, in Lori's cult, and that she's dramatically changed in the last 6 months since joining this cult, and kind of blames that for their marriage being
That'll
over.
do it every time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's June. So July 11th, Alex Cox, which is Lori's brother, shoots and kills Charles Vallow, husband number 4. He says it's in self-defense. He says that Charles had come to pick up JJ from their house and take him to school. He was not living with Lori at the time. They were separating. So it was Lori in the house, Tylee and JJ living in the house, and then Alex lived nearby. He was there. I guess he was dead within an hour of entering that home. He said that Vallow and Lori had gotten in a fight, and he starts getting physical with Lori. Tylee comes out of her bedroom with a bat, trying to defend her mom, and then supposedly Charles grabs it, and he comes at those two leave the room, and eventually he comes at Alex and hits him in the back of the head with this baseball bat. And so Alex basically just says, so I just went to his room and that he was staying, and he was staying there with them that night, and got his gun, because he always has his gun, he says. So I just went and got my gun, and I came out and I shot him.
I got in a fight with my brother-in-law, and I shot him in self-defense.
Okay, let me get the medics on the phone. And is he hurt, or is he alive, or?
Yeah, there's blood. He's not moving.
Like, you hear him on the video say that he goes back to his bedroom and puts the gun down and, like, finds his phone and, like, cleans up his head before he calls 911. He says he kind of is out of it. I don't know. That seems a little weird to, like, take your time calling 911 when you've shot your brother-in-law, supposedly dead, in the living room. So supposedly Tylee had gone outside at this time with JJ to play, and Lori was in another room, and so neither of them were in the room and saw this happen. So after this happens, Lori decides to take JJ to school.
Okay.
So that seems a little strange to me.
Yeah.
Like,
to like totally disregard that whole situation.
Your dad just died. Let's go to school, buddy. And by the way, JJ, I haven't mentioned this. JJ has autism. And I know there's varying degrees of that, and each child is different, but I know that behaviorally he had some issues there. So I know that he was I would think that this would really affect him. Like, it would,
Yeah. Well,
she takes him to school. Right. So she takes him to school, and she comes back later then with Tylee. And when the police talk to her, she seems just super nonchalant. She's, like, laughing. She kind of makes a joke about how they're new to the neighborhood and, like, oh, hi, neighbors, like, and giggles.
We just moved in here.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived here?
I'm sorry?
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know us.
Gotcha.
Like, hi, neighbor, sorry.
Super strange. Like, her husband's dead. I mean, they were separating, but still, it's super weird. She just completely seems unfazed by any of it at all. She apparently, though, had told the school that Charles had committed suicide when she had taken JJ to school. And according to the property manager there at that house that they were staying at, that they were renting, that day they had a pool party with loud music.
After he...
Yeah. I don't know. That seems odd to me. But,
Maybe it was hot. Sometimes the heat will just get to you and make you do weird things.
I guess so. Okay, so we're up to August 9th. So JJ has a service dog. It is on August 9th, for whatever reason, the service dog is put up for sale, and eventually goes back to the kennel that they had purchased him from, is what Kay says. I think that's weird. You would think a child would probably be pretty attached to their dog.
Yeah.
I think your whole family would be attached to the dog, and, like, you wouldn't want to just, like, up and put it up for sale. I don't know.
I could get rid of our dog real
Hey.
quick.
No.
It wouldn't take much, you know. All you'd have to do is say the word.
No. So the next day, Kay talks to JJ on FaceTime for about 35 seconds. She said, and that is the last time she has contact with him. So then on September 1st, Lori, Tylee, JJ, they all moved to Rexburg. Tylee was going to stay in Arizona but didn't want to leave JJ, so she goes to Melanie, the niece, and Alex move there too over the next 2 months. So they're all staying together. And then on the 3rd, JJ was enrolled in Kennedy Elementary School. Less than 3 weeks later, he attended class for the last time. His mother unenrolled him, saying that she was going to homeschool him. Tylee's not enrolled at this time because she had graduated early. I guarantee that cat's going to walk right across this keyboard.
Nah, she's good.
Anyway. So on September 8th, Tylee, JJ, Lori, and Alex go to Yellowstone National Park. This is the last time anybody has seen Tylee. They headed home around 6:45 p.m. Alex's cell phone is tracked to Lori's apartment at 2:45 a.m. on the 9th, the next day, for a couple hours. And then it's tracked back to his apartment. And then after 9 a.m., it's tracked to Chad Daybell's backyard until 11:53 a.m. So that seems a little fishy when you find out later that that's where they found the kids. So on September 9th then, the day after they were at the park, Chad Daybell texts Tammy saying that he shot a raccoon and he buried it in their pet cemetery. His exact text was, "Well, I've had an interesting morning. I've spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun. One shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times." I don't know. That is, like, to hear that and to know that what they're talking about is that actually they're burying a body in that cemetery, that's pretty creepy. And that's JJ, I believe. I don't know. Or no, I guess it would have had to have been Tylee, because Tylee is missing at this point. So September 19th, Lori tells Melanie Gibb, who's her good friend and who is also does podcasts with her and stuff, and they are part of the LDS church together. She knows Lori fairly well. She tells Melanie that JJ has become a zombie. So then on the 22nd, Melanie is there at the house with her boyfriend and Lori and Chad. And Alex comes in. He's holding JJ, who's asleep. And this is the last time that they can verify anyone seeing JJ in person. The next day, Melanie and her boyfriend were told that JJ was acting like a zombie, so Alex had taken him and was taking care of him. And that's why he wasn't at the house. So Alex Cox's cell phone is in Chad Daybell's backyard for 17 minutes at night, starting at 9:55 a.m. It seems pretty fast to dig a grave and bury a kid in 17 minutes, but Chad previously had worked as a grave digger and maybe had it already had it ready.
Done, yeah.
I don't know. But, like, why not? I mean, that makes... something other people have said was, like, when they found him, he was, like, his mouth was taped, and, like, he was taped like he was being restrained, and then inside plastic bags. And, like, they don't know if he was, like, alive when they put him in there, or if he was already deceased. But why have his mouth taped then? So then on the next day, on the 24th, that's when Lori tells the school that he's being homeschooled now. So, and like they didn't have.
And this is all because these people legitimately think that these kids are turning into zombies and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what all is going on in their mind. I mean, I assume that has a big role in it. Yeah. I don't know. So October 1st, Lori rents a 10 by 10 storage unit in Rexburg. Surveillance cameras show her and Daybell and a man associated with them visited the unit 9 times in October and once in November. And then often the man, who they suspect to be Alex Cox, comes alone. Inside are kids' items and gun casings, bikes, like clothing, kid stuff, and gun casings. So on the 2nd, there was a drive-by shooting attempt made on Brandon Boudreaux, which is, Lori's niece, Melanie's ex-husband.
Okay.
Someone drives by and tries to shoot him but misses. The drive-by car was a Jeep, and it was registered to Charles Vallow, who is dead now, that Alex shot. That was husband number 4. Super weird. Super weird. Like, clearly that's related. Clearly they have a hand in that, to me. I mean, I don't know. Okay, and then just a few days later, a week later, on the 9th, Tammy, Chad's wife, calls 911 and says a masked man shot at her with a paintball gun. I mean, what are the chances? I find that very suspicious. And then, okay, so that was the 9th. And then the 19th, Chad calls 911, says Tammy died in her sleep. Supposedly died of her death was ruled just from natural causes. She was buried on the 22nd. Chad had said that she went to bed the night before with a terrible cough. And then, but 17 days before she died, Lori used her dead 4th husband's Amazon account to order wedding rings for her to marry Chad.
That's fucked up.
Right?
So I'm already like really confused because if she said that they don't have any idea that the one kid is missing because they think that he's being homeschooled, right?
Well, the school doesn't know he's missing because they think he's being homeschooled, and
so when this happens,
other
no one's like,
obligation.
"Where the fuck's that kid?"
Right. Well, and it's the grandparents that officially say something.
It's just so much. This is like, I mean, I saw the frustration when you were doing this because you're like, there's just so much.
There's a lot of information, and there's so many people interested in the case, and it went on for so long where they were looking for these kids and like all these speculations as to what happened. So you have to kind of sort through the stuff that's like, do we really know?
But you were following this shit when it was going on, right? Like you're like, there's kids, they still haven't found them. You know,
I was really hoping that they were in some bunker somewhere safe. I mean, I think we all knew that that's not what was happening, that these kids probably weren't coming out of this alive, unfortunately. You just always hope.
I don't know how anybody could do that to a kid or an adult, really, but like especially your own kids and
Well, no, they wouldn't be Chad's biological children.
Still, they're in
so
your
I don't
care.
know.
I don't know.
She seems, I don't know.
That's fucking depressing.
Yeah.
But what happens next?
So on the 25th, Tylee's friend told the Post-Register that she got a text from Tylee's number. Supposedly it said, "Hi, miss you guys too, love ya." And that was in response to a text that she had gotten on the night that this person had sent on the 19th. They said it was unlikely for her not to spell out the words all the way, and that she would have normally texted back more and more quickly. She was very close with this girl, and you could tell, like, there were lots of pictures in I think it was the 48 hours that I watched about them. And when this girl talked about Tylee and JJ, and like their bond, Tylee and JJ's bond, and then the bond that the three of them had. Like, it was really sweet, and like you could tell, and even the mom of the friend was really broken up about it and like crying. Like, you don't even see that from Lori and Chad. You don't see any of that from them about these kids.
Well, I mean, they're the ones doing it, right?
Right. I mean, that's what gets me. It's like, it's very clear that it's them that did this. There's no doubt in my mind. I am afraid, though, they're going to pin it all on Alex, who's dead now anyways. And
how did he die again? I lost that.
You didn't know he died yet.
Oh,
So,
I thought you said he died at the beginning of this.
Maybe I did.
I don't know. Lord of the Rings. I'm just going to keep saying
I don't think I said that he died yet, but he does die. Okay. So, anyway, so at the end of October, Chad receives $430,000 in life insurance, according to arrest records. So that would have been from Tammy's death.
Right.
So, and then they get married, Chad and Lori do, on November 5th. So that's just weeks after Tammy dies. She dies on the 19th. They get married on November 5th. Chad's been telling people that Lori doesn't have any kids in the following days there. And police say Lori told people Tylee died years ago.
Oh, shit.
So, like, that's another thing. Like, why would you say that? So then in November, again, in the middle of November, November 14th, Melanie Boudreau is arrested for trespassing on Brandon's parents' property in Utah and charged with criminal trespassing. Who knows what she was up to. November 26th, the Rexburg police conduct a welfare check for JJ at the request of a family member. This is Kay that's reported. You know, she's like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? Where are the kids? And they, you know, they spent time with JJ. They were biologically his grandparents, and they still acted as his grandparents.
This is my body cam footage as myself and Lieutenant Ball approach the apartment number 175 the first time on the 26th.
Hi, you Lori. Lori, I'm Lieutenant Ball, Police Department. How are you? You got a minute? You alone, or that help?
My brother's here.
Okay. This is Detective Stubbs.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
So, we're here.
Wow, this is a big mess. I just talked to the guy on the phone.
And what did he ask you?
He was just saying that he wanted to do a well check on JJ.
So, JJ would be where?
He's in Arizona.
Who's he with in Arizona?
He's with one of my friends in Arizona.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh,
Hey.
you got a notepad?
No? Let me get one?
No. Come here. You mind if he comes in?
No, come on.
So,
Thank you.
Sorry.
who's the friend he's with?
My friend Melanie. Her
Melanie.
son has autism. Her name's Melanie Gibb. I gave him all the information on the phone.
Okay, so he can call him?
Yeah.
Discord.
Yeah. What is all this?
We're a little
What is
concerned
Why?
because, well, the officers who were here earlier
Yeah.
were checking, and they got a bad vibe that like something was going on here because nobody knew anything about a child. They weren't talking.
It's because a
What's
lot of
going
stuff
on?
has gone on. If you want to know, it's a lot of stuff. So
Well, that's why we're concerned, because it just was kind of weird.
it is very weird. I've had to move around a lot. One of my brothers is trying to kill me. Not the brother that lives here, obviously. He's kind of my protector. My other brother that was in with my husband, who was trying to kill me for my $2 million life insurance policy. No way.
Now,
So a lot of stuff has gone on in this last year. It's been a horrible year for us. I've had to move around. And so I was going to move back to Arizona, put my son back in the school there, because I tried to put him in school here, public school at Kennedy.
okay.
He went for 2 months. We tried it, but he had such a hard time. Now, the person who called is my sister-in-law, but she's his natural grandmother. He's adopted by us. Okay, so her son, who is a drug addict,
Okay.
had a baby with a girl who's a drug addict, and they took him from, CPS took him,
Okay.
gave him to the grandmother. She came and got him, and then she wanted us to adopt him, which we did. And we loved
By
him and taken
us,
care.
who we call
My
him?
husband and I, who died earlier this year.
Okay.
He passed away. Since he
Sorry to
passed
hear that.
away, she's been trying to fight me for him and being really horrible to me and that kind of stuff.
Lori told them that JJ had gone to stay with Melanie Gibb in Arizona. And that was not true. Lori tells police that Charles changing his life insurance policy, which she wouldn't have known until after Charles was dead. And about how Kay got this $1 million and she got nothing to raise JJ and Tylee. And she sounds like she's still upset about this. She tells them that they're going to go see Frozen 2. And Melanie testified that Lori asked her to take a picture of just random kids out somewhere and make it look like JJ was one of them. And Lori told Melanie that Kay was trying to kidnap JJ, and that's why she's doing all this. So she calls Lori 12 days later and records it.
Doing something? Like, was she trying to come get him or something? Or, like, trying to kidnap him?
Well, she said that lots of times before, but,
Okay, when I asked Chad the other day, I was like, hey, where is JJ? And he said, for my security, he didn't want me to know. So is there a reason I should be in danger to know where he is?
no, it's nobody. It's his danger. It's the danger that there's people after me.
Okay.
We just felt that if you knew, that puts you in a danger.
Well, just in a bad position.
Bad position.
Everybody, if they don't know anything, then they don't have to say they know.
Right, so you're just worried. Okay.
I'm just to keep him protected and
keep you protected.
And keep everybody else good.
I appreciate that. Well, I was wondering why you told the police why he was with me.
I just needed to have somebody so I wouldn't have to tell them where he really was, because they were going to tell Kay where he is.
Oh, yeah. So do you think it's like your family, or, like your family, your dad, or, those
my
people?
Family, well, not my whole family, but as you know, most of my family is working against me and with her, basically.
Yeah.
And she starts kind of being confrontational and saying, I thought you were my friend. And, Melanie's kind of like, well, if you were my friend, you wouldn't have said I had your kid when I don't, and put me in the middle of all this. So anyway, the next day, Rexburg police serve a search warrant, but the Daybells are gone. Then on the 29th, Alex Cox marries Zulema Pestinis in Vegas. And then on the 30th, a day later, Melanie marries Ian Pawlowski in Vegas. So I think that's weird that Alex and Melanie are both in Vegas a day apart, and they're both getting married. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I just thought that was weird. So on December 1st, Chad and Lori fly American Airlines to Lahu, Hawaii, on the island of Kauai.
Nice, huh?
Right?
Again, get back to
Hawaii.
their roots.
No children fly with them, of course. On the 6th, Melanie Gibb contacts the police and says that Chad and Lori had called her on November 2nd and asked her to lie about where the kids were. Okay, on the 8th, she records a phone call with Lori where she tells safe and happy. December 11th, the Fremont County Sheriff's Department calls Tammy's death suspicious, and her body is exhumed on December 11th to perform an autopsy.
Shit's getting serious when that happens.
Right. And then the next day, Alex Cox dies under mysterious circumstances in Gilbert, Arizona. Supposedly the autopsy reveals he died of blood clots and issues with high blood pressure. But a ton of information is going along with this guy when he dies, and only one day after her body is exhumed. And he can't even be questioned about Tammy's death.
But that doesn't seem, that seems like natural causes, right? Like, what would they do to cause that to kill him?
I don't know. I'm sure there's something, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what happened. Maybe they just got lucky. I don't know. Okay, so then on the 20th, the police go public with the search of the children. They say that the disappearances may be linked to the death of Tammy, and that Chad and Lori are called persons of interest the next day. The 23rd, the Daybell's attorney released a statement and called the parents loving and devoted. They won't tell you where the kids are, of course.
I remember your frustration with this when it was happening.
You're
like, they obviously did it.
I just felt like it went on forever when they said you have a deadline, and the deadline was they didn't give him a deadline for a long time. And then when they finally did give him a deadline, and then they didn't meet the deadline, and then they waited after that even to arrest them. I just think that is ridiculous. And they only arrested her first. It was a long time after that he was arrested. Like, what the heck?
What was the thing I heard you listening to that was talking about Frozen? I think they went to see Frozen. Who was that?
That was her. That was Lori talking.
To the police?
Talking to the police. And when they tried to call Melanie and they couldn't get a hold of her, they go back to the apartment and she says, oh, they went to see Frozen too. I think they're seeing the movie right now. That's why she's not answering.
That's what caused the rift in their friendship or whatever.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
She wanted her to lie.
She's spilling her guts now, and she testified against her in these preliminary hearings and stuff. So, okay. So December 26th, the Preparing a People podcast issues a statement saying that they're not a cult. That's their podcast, and that it's a multimedia company that focuses on video editing. Okay. December 30th, Rexburg Police issues a news update, and they say, we also have information indicating that Lori knows either the location of the children or what has happened to them, and they call her lack of cooperation astonishing. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
It is astonishing when a parent does this crap. Okay, so now we're into this year, 2020, the year of all years. So, January 3rd, FBI and local investigators serve a search warrant on the Daybell home, and they recover 43 items: computers, cell phones, journals, documents, and medications, and it's all sent to labs. On the 7th, JJ's grandparents hold a press conference. That's Kay and then her husband hold a press conference and announce a $20,000 reward for the children's return.
I thought that said $20. I was like, $20?
That's because I missed a zero in there.
$20 is not a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen.
And then on the 10th, Matt Daybell, which is Chad's brother, pleads for him to cooperate. That apparently didn't do much good because he's still.
What did that sound like? Was it like?
I don't know.
Chad, brother, please tell us where you've buried your children.
And then, well, they don't know that yet. You know, Chad just sits in that.
Bro, we know you did it. All right, come forward. Let's just get this thing out in the open.
I like how he's so bro about it.
Bro. Well, you wrote bro, so.
Well. Fox 10 Phoenix obtains records including body cam footage of the moments after Alex Cox shot and killed Charles Vallow, and Cox's and Lori's story contradicted each other in parts of it, apparently. January 25th, the Kauai Police Department serves a notice that Lori must produce JJ and Tylee to Idaho Department of Health and Welfare or to the Rexburg Police in 5 days. So this is that deadline. This is that deadline I'm saying, finally. Finally, now in January, we're going to do that. So the 26th, EastIdahoNews.com flies to Hawaii and approaches Chad and Lori after the police stop them at the Kauai Beach Resort. Their rental car is seized and searched, and their townhome that's a rental is searched as well. Yeah, they go and they question Chad and Lori there, and they say, where are your children? You have nothing to say. People are praying for your kids and wondering where your kids are and looking for your kids. And she says, that's great. And that's all she says the whole time.
But we're in Hawaii, and can't you see? We're getting ready to have a pig. They got it on a rotisserie.
And you just see the reporter be like, that's great. Like, that's all you have to say? Like,
yeah. Kids are missing.
What's wrong with you?
We know. We've heard all about it. But we are going to have some lays. And we're going to have a pig. They've buried it in the ground.
This cat, I'll tell you. Okay, so Larry and Kay, on the 29th, file for guardianship of JJ in the Madison County Magistrate Court. So that's his legal grandparents. They file for his guardianship then. I don't know that did much, but I suppose do whatever you can to make it feel like you're doing something. So Lori obviously misses the deadline on the 30th at 5 p.m. Kay Woodcock addressed the media about how things were progressing, and obviously she didn't produce the children. So February 3rd, East Idaho News visited the storage unit. Inside, the officers find the bikes, scooters, winter clothing, a photo album with pictures of the kids, sports equipment, JJ's backpack, and a jersey with Colby Ryan's name on it, which was Lori's son from another marriage, and blankets with their pictures on them, all in this storage unit. On the 12th of February, Kay tells East Idaho News that in February of 2019 is when Charles had removed Lori from the insurance policy and that she had been the only beneficiary of that. February 14th, there was a 2-hour Dateline NBC special Where Are the Children aired that day.
Was it like... I can't... This shit doesn't even make sense to me. And this is why our whole country's all fucked up. Because they didn't, like... when you're a parent, you are responsible for those kids. When they are gone, when they just disappear and you're like, you can't produce them. If you go to Hawaii, you automatically are guilty. You've admitted it right there. Because you should care. You are legally bound to care. And you've abandoned all of your responsibilities and you're refusing to tell people where you buried your children.
Just staunch. I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. So on February 16th, Ian, who is now married to Melanie, the niece, gives his ex a computer. And she finds documents on there outlining Chad and Lori's beliefs. Stuff to do with demon possession, dark immortal beings on police force, spiritual rankings of one's libido, like
what?
Some strange stuff.
What's a spiritual ranking of a libido? What does that mean? They're like a sex cult?
I'm assuming that part of it is anyway. I mean, I don't think it's solely related, but yeah.
You can tell a man put this cult together, huh?
Right. February 20th, police in Kauai arrest Lori Daybell. She is arrested on a $5 million warrant out of Madison County on 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of dependent children. She is also charged with arrests and seizures, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court and willful disobedience of a court process or order.
When they ask them, like, where's the kids? What do they say?
Nothing.
Nothing. They don't say anything. They just sit there and are mute.
Nothing. They're safe.
It's fucking crazy.
She waives her extradition to Idaho after several attempts to reduce her bail are failed on the 26th of February. And then in March, an email is written by police in Arizona to reveal that Lori could be indicted in relation to Charles's death now. So that could be a totally different case. I don't know if they're going to like lump it all together, but that was something that I found along the way. March 4th, Lori is in court as the extradition is processed, and then on the 5th, she's extradited to Rexburg, Idaho. And then she makes her initial appearance on the 6th, and her bail is reduced to $1 million. So then on March 13th on the telephone, attorneys for Lori appear before the magistrate judge. Farron Edens is his name, and he removes himself from the case, as was requested by Daybell's team, and a new judge, Michelle Mallard, and defense attorney, the new judge is Michelle Mallard, and then the defense attorneys, Brian Webb and Edwina L. Cox, share that they're going to withdraw from the case soon.
Now, why is all that?
I am not exactly sure why they're doing that. I assume that they think that they can't make decisions without...
It's probably like they probably almost want to look at her and go, listen, you at least have to lie. Like, you have to do something. You can't just sit there and not say things. You have to either tell them what you've done or lie. That's what we're doing here. That's the game of the court system. I mean, right? Am I wrong? That's the way it seems to me.
So her attorney, Mark Means, files a motion on the 24th of March to reduce her bail and says that he has new facts that have come to light, but he doesn't really elaborate on what those facts are.
Okay.
Thanks. So April 9th, Chad and Lori are being investigated for conspiracy, attempted murder, and or murder. But the Idaho attorney, by the Idaho Attorney General's office involving Tammy's death. May 1st, Lori asks for reduction in bail again, and they keep it at $1 million. May 8th, Maricopa County medical examiner releases the autopsy report for Alex, and she says then that he died of natural causes and that he had blood clots in his lungs. June 9th, 7 a.m., Rexburg Police and FBI and Fremont County Sheriffs serve a search warrant at Chad Daybell's home. Within hours, they uncover the human remains of JJ and Tylee.
And they were in this pet cemetery?
Tylee was in the pet cemetery, yeah. She had been burned and dismembered. JJ had fresh dirt on top of rocks, on top of paneling, and then JJ was under it, wrapped in plastic.
Ew.
And
it's a lot of work and thought into doing
that. And to dismember her, like, burn her. She was, like, under, like, a metal bucket that had been melted. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Lori talked on the phone to Chad, and he told her that they were searching the house and yard. He sounds very worried in this phone call. It sounds like he knows that they are going to find them. And she says, should I call you later? And he just says, like, you can try. Okay.
Yeah, you can try. I'll probably be in jail because I didn't do a very good job of hiding it.
And I think Alex is part of this too, but, he's dead now. So June 9th at 11:30, he's taken into custody and charged with 2 felony charges of concealment and distribution or altercation of evidence. June 10th is his first court appearance, and he has a $1 million bail by Fair and Edens again. And then Rob Wood, the prosecutor, confirms that the remains are the children. June 29th, the prosecutors file felony charges in Fremont County and related to the discovery of the bodies. There's a 16-page affidavit of probable cause, contains info by detectives that led them to file the charges. July 2nd, prosecutors dismissed 2 felony accounts of desertion and non-support of the children, and she pleads not guilty to misdemeanor, resisting or obstructing officers, criminal solicitation to commit a crime, and contempt of court. She is set for jury trial from January 25th to the 29th in 2021.
Wow.
So Chad's preliminary hearing started August 4th. Special Agent Steve Daniels testified that the northeast side of the pond, there was a clandestine grave found, and stones and boards over the body, black garbage bags were opened, and then a white bag inside, and then he opened that and there was human hair visible. And then that's when they knew that they had JJ. And then the second team dug up a cat and a dog in the pet cemetery, and then they found the melted bucket, and under that was a partial human skull, and that was later determined to be Tylee's. Chad pleads not guilty to felony charges, and the trial is scheduled for January 2021 on the 21st of August. The 27th, the defense attorney, John Pryor, asked Judge Stephen Boyce to dismiss the entire case against Chad. He says the prosecutor failed to provide enough evidence to support the allegations. Apparently that didn't go well.
Well, yeah, why the hell would it?
And then on September 1st, the prosecutor asked to combine the cases. Chad asks the case to be moved to Fremont on the 4th. Chad objects to a joint trial with Lori on the 9th. On the 10th, she pleads not guilty to 2 felony counts to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence in the jury trial set from March 22nd to April 2nd. And Chad, however, pled guilty to 4 felony charges of conspiracy and destruction of evidence. The 14th of September, Judge grants Lori permission to wear street clothing in the court, and her attorney says she has no objection to joining the trial together. And then on the 17th, she asked to be moved to Fremont County
Why
as well.
is it so important that she wears street clothing in the
I don't
court?
know.
So she doesn't feel like the criminal that she is?
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a thing. Like she looks like a criminal and she doesn't. I don't know.
It has to be.
And so I don't know. I don't know whose idea this was, who led this. Who was it, Chad or Lori? Is it the two of them together? Why isn't anyone charged with murder?
That's a good question. I was waiting for it. And
are they going to blame it all on Alex? Is that what they're going to try and do?
You know what it is? They have no, like, they're not talking, you know? So it's like they don't know what the fuck to charge them with. And
I think for sure Chad I think Charles, Tammy's death, and that shooting at Melanie's husband, Melody Boudreau's husband, was all connected, and that was all them.
Mm.
And the kids. I think this is a whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that they were trying to start a new life, it seemed like. And
she tried to claim like Charles's insurance money because she didn't know he had it changed. And she was mad when she found out it wasn't for her.
That's part of the fucked up.
But why take that out on the kids if that's why?
Maybe they were trying to pull insurance money out of them too.
And did the kids know too much? Is that why this happened? Did they know too much of what had happened before with the others, and that's why they had to go?
No, like I said, maybe they were just trying to get rid of the kids. Get rid of the kids is what they were trying to do.
And Tylee was at the house, you know, like I said, when Charles died. Well, and technically JJ was too. They said that they weren't in the house, but were they?
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe that's why. Chad faces up to 20 years in prison and Lori 10 if they're found guilty of their current charges.
20 years in prison.
Or 10 for her.
That doesn't seem... there was a recent case around here where a younger kid, not a kid, but, 20-year-old something, had raped a little boy and got life in prison for that. But why wouldn't this be a life in prison situation? I mean,
I don't know, because they're not charging them with murder.
But I mean,
and I think I want to say that in Utah or in Idaho, maybe that if they're charged with like conspiracy to murder, that they can get the same sentence as murder. So if they charge them with conspiracy to murder, whatever, I think that might be an easier charge to get them with.
Yeah.
But it has the same consequences. Goofy dog. Okay, so there was an inmate that was in the same pod with an adjacent cell to Lori, and she told Idaho News that Lori wanted to watch her own story on the news. Like, she could not wait. She was excited and almost seemed like she loved all the attention it was bringing her on the news, on the TV every day. And she said that Lori talked to her son, Colby, and he had repeatedly asked her about the kids, and she just would like bring up old memories of them and didn't answer the questions, skirted that. And she told Colby she was being tested like Job. She prayed and read scripture a lot to him on the phone, and I don't know, he quit calling eventually. I think he's pretty fed up with her too. Of course now.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
This level of insanity it's the most bothersome to me because they have this connection to like a religious thing that allows them to not feel any guilt for it.
It's another example of people using religion to found their horrible acts, to justify it. Yeah.
In this case, her insanity.
And there was someone that they talked to that they called Jessica. That's not her real name, from the church that Chad had gone to, and that he said that he was idolized, and they really focused on the end times. They had 2 huge canvas tents and cots and sleeping bags, food, charcoal, cloth diapers. You had to have $15,000 to $20,000 saved up. Or stuff that was equivalent to that anyway. They thought they would need it, or that they would be called forward by the church in the end with those things that they would need. They believed that there were shields around the home and businesses that they could do, that they cast spirits out of computers, that they could do that. Her boss could do that, and that Chad, Yeah.
That is such a funny concept. Like, you're sitting there working at your computer, and like instead of just an IP guy that's coming to update your software, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna rick-a-dick-a-doo, cast the spirits out, and there we go. You are good to go. No more spirits on your computer.
Well, this whole experience led this woman to step away from the church. It really gave her issues, which she said that she had some other childhood issues, and that this didn't help. So
yeah.
And, that's, neither here nor there, probably. That's not really evidence, I would say. It's just a tidbit I had read. Yeah. But I hope these suckers are convicted. I hope they get charged with, like I said, at least conspiracy to murder. I hope they never walk another free day. Ever. Those kids were beautiful children, and like I said, you could see how much Tylee loved JJ in these videos and stuff. It's really sad. It's really sad because there were people that would have cared for those kids. It's just that simple. You didn't have to do it. You could have just... Someone else would have stepped up happily and taken those kids off of your hands.
No, but the fact of the matter is people that do that kind of stuff want to do it. Mm-hmm. It's a sickness.
I don't even know if it's that.
I could not fathom doing anything close to any of the stuff we've talked about since we started doing this show. And I don't know. How often do you consume this kind of stuff?
Me? Read stuff like this? Every day.
Well, you had said, somebody had said that you said they listen to like 6 podcasts a day or something.
Shout out to Shauna.
Oh my God.
She listens to a lot of them.
That's it's wildly depressing.
Into it. It's a lot. It's a lot sometimes. Some hit harder than others too. With kids, I think. Yeah. I think it really hits because I have kids and I can't imagine doing that, and I can't imagine living without them, and I just think it's weird to
I don't know. I just think about times where I've had to kill an animal, and I'm like, I didn't want to do it. Like out here, you had me kill a fucking squirrel.
Now let's.
And it was because she loves to see squirrels die. It wasn't. No, this squirrel was injured in our yard, and automatically I become the fucking diplomat to go out and kill it.
It was screeching.
It was making a terrible sound, so I find a stick or whatever, and I'm like, God, this sucks. And I'm like hitting it, and it's dead finally. And then I felt terrible. And then to take that to the next level of doing that to a human being
and to think
or a small child.
On the scale, yeah, I know.
And then to be one of those people that enjoys it, that is fucking sick. That's on the same level as those people that want to make pedophilia a sexual orientation. I don't know if you've heard about this group of assholes, but
well, and like that Chris Watts case, I will not be covering that case ever. I watched the Netflix doc. I'm cool.
Which one's that? Is that the one?
The girl that Shanann, and she was pregnant, and then they had two daughters, Celeste and Bella.
Put them in barrels.
He put them in these great big oil containers, and they're huge.
One of the few stories I know from recent history. Okay, well, what are we covering next time? Do you know?
I'm not sure what I'm covering next time. It's not going to be anything with kids.
Probably something happy, I bet.
It's not going to be happy. But probably going to do a solved case the next time.
Solved, so we're not leaving people hanging so they can argue with us online. Anyways, my opinion is I think that they most definitely were trying to pull some shit because it's like people that are real bad at lying.
Yeah, I think it's a lot deeper than just these two kids and a doomsday call. I think it's deeper than that.
Yeah. But who will ever know because, their lips are pretty much sealed as far as it seems. And the other dude's dead.
Is dead.
So, yeah. But anyways, What you say? Keep your head up and don't kill anyone. Is that our sign
that's our
off?
line.
All right. And here's another. Don't bitch at us about things on fucking YouTube because I don't give a shit. If you've watched all the way to this point, you'll understand that I don't give a shit, and I will have a lot of fun going back and forth with you pointlessly all day because your comments mean as much as a stranger's comments on the internet. Fuck you.
Nice.